Mail everybody. Let me go ahead and record this. Okay. Mail everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Everybody, welcome back to a Saturday Cantonese Cat live stream. I'm just gonna start by going through a few things here. First of all, if you don't know already, I've already made quite a few videos today. I feel like I'm just kind of talking nonstop today. I almost feel like my voice is already starting to go out a little bit. Sorry, I'm gonna probably take some pauses and like hydrate here. And you guys have a lot of chart requests. Actually, I think that there are like 50 or 60 chart requests. I didn't think I was able to do it within 2 hours and keep it like a quality show because a lot of them are actually quite rare. I should say. So I've already kind of knocked them out on a separate video. So if you don't see the chart being requested, it's because I already did a video that's like an hour long that already covered like 21 stocks already, just to get them out of the way. Also, already talk about the major miners, talk about like 10 or 11 of them already. Also talk about like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, ADA, all that stuff. So if you guys want to watch that, please do. I'm going to cover what I kind of want to cover here. And I mean, at some point, I'm going to have to like limit chart requests to just one per person because it's like absolutely impossible to do all this. It's just getting absolutely insane. But just want to let you guys know I've taken into consideration. So if I don't get to all your chart requests, I'm sorry. I try my best. But anyway, that's one thing. The second thing is I do have a triumvirate channel that I basically have a Tuesday evening live stream with two guys. One of them is the Tesla tracker, who's available on X. He his handle on X is SBZung, ZUNG. Very nice guy, very good Elliott wave technician. Another guy, is the OK Masby. OK Masby, his handle is Matt Hughes 13. He's okay. He's not bad. It's basically he does a lot of Gantt chart. He does a lot of Ichimoku just like I do, and he thinks a lot very similar to me. So we usually do these live streams on Tuesday night on the Triumvirate channel. So feel free to subscribe to that as well. It's the Triumvirate TA channel. And I just did one with them last Tuesday. It's titled Mara Mara Mara. It was fun. And then finally, I also want to, of course, share with you this guy over here, Danny. I talk to him a lot every day. I'm on his Patreon. I actually also post on there, and I try to help out the guy sometimes. So yeah, that's pretty much all the business part of things. I'm gonna close out all of these here, and we're gonna start with the 6-month chart of NDX. Are we in a bubble right now? We are not really. Because if you're talking about, I really only see maybe like 2 or 3 bubbles here on the NDX. This is a 6-month chart. And what I'm showing you here is the Bollinger Band. If there is ever a period of time where it's just way outside the upper Bollinger Band for months and years, which happened during the dot-com bubble, we don't really have that right now. We have these 6-month candles, and granted, these are 6-month candles. These 6-month candles are closing way outside the upper Bollinger Band for 5 years in a row, right? So you're going to get punished for it for a whole decade. That's exactly what happened. Over here, around 2013 or so, you end up having maybe like 2 years straight where you have these 6-month candles close outside the upper Bollinger Band. You know, getting punished around 2015, 2016. Wasn't too bad. Same thing here. Couple of them way outside, getting punished in 2018. 3 or 4 or 5 in a row here around 2019, 2020, 2021, got punished here for about a year, right? Right now, I think we're just kind of resuming. This is like normal business here. There's really nothing to get really concerned about. Looking at the grand scheme of things, I'm going to go to like the monthly chart here of the S&P 500. And this is something called like a Gantt square. Is it too late for Ethereum entry? I don't know if it's too late for Ethereum entry. I think anything that's less than $4,000 USD might be a good entry, not financial advice. But yeah, it's getting really hard to kind of figure out what's a good Ethereum entry. Anyway, S&P 500, the SPY here, what you're seeing is monthly candles. And this Gann chart was drawn based on these numbers, 360 and 2. So if you zoom in, you're going to see that the Gann here has been well respected throughout the history of the S&P 500 index fund, whereas respecting these arcs over here, and each of these cycles kind of basically test the arc here, go up higher, test the arc here, go up higher, test the arc over here, go up higher. And here we tested the arc here recently in 2022, and then we went up higher to the next arc, right? Are we going to test the arc over here? I don't know. But what I do know is we're breaking through the arc. All I know is we're breaking through the arc. And on top of that, we didn't just break through the arc, we also broke through a very important Fibonacci level, which is the 1.618. Does it mean that we have to come back and back test before further bullish continuation? Not necessarily. It looks like it wants to go higher. QQQ, same thing. QQQ actually gives you a different kind of picture here. Going all the way from the Great Financial Crisis bottom all the way through, you see these arcs are being very well respected, right? Got rejected an arc over here. Initially, we had a rejection over here too, back in late 2023. Pushed through, got a little bit rejected here, and we made it to the horizontal line over here, where it's also confluent with the 1.414 logarithmic Fibonacci level. Got stalled here for about 4 months, right? NVDA did nothing, right? So QQQ ended up getting stalled here for 4 months. Now you're pushing through. You see that Gann level, also the 1.414. This is the November to remember. Remember, we're pushing through. So where's it going to go? Gravitate to? Probably going to be the next arc. We already back tested this arc here. We might back test the horizontal here, maybe. But yeah, maybe it gets to 1.618 and just kind of come back down. Who knows? But it looks like it wants to just keep going up to the next arc, which is going to be double from here over the next 3 to 5 years. That's what it looks like to me. Somebody requested IWM. Welcome, Henry. Welcome, Christian, DK, Vivian. Welcome, everybody. Nathan, Chuan, Adrian, Bien, Logains, the usual. All right, so I'm going to jot down a couple of requests here. You guys are making me work. You guys are making me work. This is the IWM. We're getting close to breaking the previous all-time high. Remember how I thought that November 2024 could potentially be similar to November 2020. Short of having a potential God candle that breaks this wick up here. The wick is 244.46. We haven't broken that yet. We'll see if we can. But it so far is a very, very impulsive candle here. And on top of that, I think we're also really closing above some pretty important Fibonacci levels here. We were having a lot of resistance here at the 0.786, but we pushed through it. Once we push through the 0.786, generally things go to all-time high. Is it going to be November or is it going to be December? I don't know. Whenever IWM goes to all-time high, the rest follows, right? Somebody requested IWM. I just want to I'm not sure exactly what I need to talk about it, but the key thing here is that it really truly broken about the 0.786 here. And it came back down. I was thinking it could come back down and test this level. If you do not the log chart here, if you do the linear, it really just kind of broke about the 0.76 here and it kind of already back tested that already. Almost perfect this week, which is why whenever everybody was kind of freaked out for a few days down just like that, everybody was like, oh no, IWM's going to do its thing, it's going to close the gap. All it did is just kind of come back down and back test the 0.786. You can see how important this bit level is, right? Came back down, back tested. We're mooning. I think it fulfilled all the criteria that it needs to before further bullish continuation. I don't think this gap over here necessarily needs to be closed. Just like I don't think this gap over here necessarily needs to be closed. I think that it looks like it's ready because it's already kind of come back down and back test some very, very important levels. And if IWM goes higher, that means a lot of things are going to go higher. because the meme season and also all these like speculative stocks and things like that, like they didn't really moon until IWM made its all-time high. I think we might be at a very, very similar spot where we were at before. And I think that we are going to probably do okay moving forward. D nice, thanks. I'll do Rocket Lab later. I already made a video on Ethereum, so I probably won't do that. I just made one like this morning. And Adrian, I will get to Affirm and I will get to CrowdStrike. I just marked them down here. But I just kind of wanted to get the lay of the land here. Like everything is looking pretty decent. ARK. Somebody asked about ARK. What do I think about ARK? Well, this scan here, let me see. I'm going to zoom out here. Yeah, this scan was drawn to monthly, right? 360 and 1. Follows some pretty decent market symmetry here. I'm going to get rid of the fit levels just to kind of let you see that here perfectly. So what I think is so perfect about it is that it really respected the scan arc down here. And once it bounced, it really became very impulsive. And when it came back down, it really respected this angle. This over here, I can't make this up. Like this back in August, whenever you have the yen carry trade, everybody was super scared. ARK basically just formed a big giant hammer candle over here and back tested the confluence zone here at the bottom of the ARK as well as at the 45-degree angle. I can't make this up. This is like so beautiful that I don't even know like what to say. If you're looking at the fit levels, and I'm going to do it in a log scale so it makes a lot more sense here, we are at resistance. We are at the 0.382 Fibonacci level resistance, a little bit over that. But I'm not sure we're going to end up closing a month above that actually. If we do, then we're probably going to go back up to this arc over here around the 0.618, around $83.70. Ultimately, it doesn't have to make an all-time high for you to make a lot of money from ARK fund stocks because things are just crazy over here. Now, I do think that the next logical area for it to hit before it hit the 0.618 is going to be the 0.5, which is going to be right here at the bottom of the monthly Ichimoku cloud, around $68. That's probably the next logical area. And because this is where the Ichimoku cloud is located, probably end up getting rejected here. But you probably end up having to hover here for a little bit longer before challenge the arc right here and probably hit the 0.618 here sometime around maybe late 2025, maybe early 2026, somewhere around there. Thanks, Logains. 10K XRP propaganda. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm gonna And then Nathan, I'm gonna chop down Snap and LRCX. Man, you guys are making me work hard here. I'm trying. I already knocked out like 20 something stocks earlier, and they just keep coming. Anyway, I'm gonna go through ARK here, but let me drink some water here. Yeah, we are at resistance, but I think we're probably going to end up pushing through resistance. I don't know whether or not November is going to be the month, but yeah, the bullish cross here on the Tenkan Nikkei on Ichimoku. The Tenkan is pushing price up higher, and you just simply can't really go up that far that fast because you're still waiting for the Bollinger Band expansion. The upper Bollinger Band is expanding higher, but I think that because of the fit level, because the upper Bollinger Band is still waiting to expand, I think you probably just need a little bit more time to go up higher. So we were still waiting for ARK to happen, but it's probably to go up to the 0.5 or to the bottom of this Ichimoku cloud here around like $68 maybe sometime early or mid 2025 is what I suspect. No guarantees, but this is a pretty nice bull trend that's happening. That's really ARK fun. Somebody requested that. I just want to kind of knock that out of the way. A couple of people. There's one person. I don't remember who anymore. Somebody requested gold and silver sector index XAU. All I have to say is it's bullish, but it's hitting a strong resistance zone over here. So if I just kind of zoom out here on the monthly, I think I'm going to mark this all-time high here to this low over here. And you can see why it's having a hard time breaking through because it's trying to break above the 0.786. If it's break above the 0.786, then it's going to go a lot higher. But it's a very, very strong resistance level over here. I don't know whether or not it's going to break out quite just yet. It could still come back down. It could still kind of hover around here for a little bit before going up higher. It could still need some time to really break above, right? But once you're able to break the zone, I think it's going to get to 0.886 is going to be next level, which is going to be around $189.50. And then once you pass through that, then you're talking about some all-time high stuff. That's kind of what I'm looking at here. Somebody also requested, the same person was requested XAG. These charts are so weird. Anyway, broken above the Ichimoku cloud on the monthly, I think it's going to go higher. You had a bullish crossover here. It looks actually very, very similar. I don't even know how to chart this because, what is this candle up here? It's all weird. But I think it's doing the same thing. I think it's probably just trying to break above the zone over here, which is going to be around the 0.786. It's still having a hard time breaking out. So, all right, knock those couple of ones out of the way. There's a lot of people who requested the Max 7 stocks. And then after that, we're going to talk about some other stuff that you guys are requesting. I'm going to go right to Amazon. Why do you request Amazon? What do I think about Amazon? I have a GAN here. Let me kind of zoom out here and kind of turn off the Ichimoku, look at my GAN here, see what's up with this. Yeah, pretty decent market symmetry. I mean, I'm seeing these ARK over here. They mean something. Push through this ARK over here, kind of hang out here in the middle of nowhere. It's probably gravitate up to the ARK over here over time. Maybe the next 3 years, it's probably be double. It's probably gonna be get close to double over the next couple of years. Is kind of what I'm seeing, with a little bit of resistance level around 280. Right, this is like a high level kind of glance at Amazon. At this point, though, I don't really like this November candle. Why does it look so hammery? Is because it's trying to break above the upper Bollinger Band here on the monthly. It's just been unable to do that. And as a result, so far, Amazon does look a little bit exhausted because you are having a little bit of RSI downtrending while price is going up. There's a little bit of bearish divergence that's being building up here. So you're probably going to end up kind of going sideways here a little bit longer before going up. Why is it getting rejected here? Let's look at the fibs. And let's look at linear fibs. It's just getting rejected at 1.236. It's nothing really significant. The way I see it is Amazon probably just got way overextended back in February and March. It is paying a price for it. Right now, it's still overextended here because it's still pretty far away from the Tengen, but the Tengen is quickly catching up. And on top of that, it's still getting rejected at the upper Bollinger Band. It still need to wait for the upper Bollinger Band to expand before going up higher. But I think it will go up higher. I think 2025, 2026, probably or late 2025 or early 2026. It probably hits somewhere around the 280 zone is where I'm guessing, because it's still a bull trend, but you're having a little bit of bearish divergence here. Probably going to end up correcting sideways here, maybe even down a little bit before going up. That's what Amazon's doing. The Meta, somebody asked me about Meta. I think Meta is the same. Meta actually looks pretty decent because it's trying to, it's got a little bit of bearish divergence here too. Let me turn off the Ichimoku here. It's got a little bit of bearish divergence. Price go up, RSI go down, but price can continue to go up on bearish divergence. I don't really care about that. It's not overextended on the monthly Bollinger Band. I think it wants to really reclaim the 1.618 here. And so far, I think for November, because of rotation, a lot of money just kind of floating into small caps and crypto and Bitcoin is just having a hard time catching a bit over here. And it's also way overextended from the Tengen, right? But it's not bearish. It's just hanging here. Probably wants to maybe have yet another candle down, maybe for December even, before going up and hit the arc up here. I think that's where the natural state of things is probably going to go, is to hit the arc up here around the 600s, around 700s, probably sometime around 2025. There's really not much bearish about it, except that it's kind of losing a little bit of momentum here. Yeah, a little bit of a bearish divergence here on the monthly, but I think it's probably going to catch up. Yeah, not bearish on that at all. Somebody asked about Google, and I charted this Google chart here, and this is the weekly yeah, the weekly chart, 360 and 1. Not bearish, despite the whole like DOJ thing, you know, like they're being investigated or whatever for like monopoly or whatever. But overall, what Google's been doing has just been flipping the Gann arc over here from resistance here to support. It also happens to be a horizontal zone that's also flipping from resistance here to support, right? A lot of confluence over here, bounce, came back up, bounce from this horizontal level over here as well. And it looks like it's just been, you know, kind of reversing trend here a little bit. I also like that there's volume kind of coming back in here on this more recent uptrend over the last couple of months. So I think it's probably going to end up bouncing up here after finding some support. Where does it find support here? I don't think anybody really knows. If you're looking at the weekly chart, it's kind of broken underneath the bullish support band here a little bit, which is unfortunate, which means that it might end up spending another few weeks to try to reclaim the bullish support band before going up, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of looking at it. If I put out the weekly Ichimoku, you can potentially bounce from the top of the Ichimoku cloud here before going up to the arc, right? So I still think that Google is in a pretty good position still to hit the arc up here, which is going to challenge this high over here around 190, probably sometime early first half of 2025 is kind of what I'm seeing here. I'm going to talk about one more stock, which is Tesla. And then after that, we'll talk about Snap, we'll talk about LRCX. But Tesla is going to be something that I have to talk about on a live stream so that I don't get asked about it later. This Gann chart, I'm going to just zoom out here. I'm going to turn off the volume. This Gann chart was drawn on the monthly. It's based on 360 and 10. And it has been showing some pretty remarkable market symmetry, where this past cycle over here has just been hovering from arc to arc, pushed through this arc after initially getting rejected, and then just backtested the arc, got close to the angle, pushed through to the next arc, initially got rejected here, pushes through, right? Got to the next level of the horizontal there, was able to have enough momentum to get to the next arc, and got rejected there. Understandably. Came back down, did it want to back to this arc here? A lot of people are saying like, you know, 40, 60 bucks Tesla. No, I just want to hover around here at the horizontal, trying to challenge the arc here again. Guess what happens now? You have a little bit of a breakout of this arc. Like this is not even equivocal. This is like a clear breakout. Just like over here, right? You went underneath the arc here, went back about the arc and took off. So the next natural area is going to be the horizontal line, and it's going to be the arc up here. The next level is going to be a horizontal line, which is around 700 bucks, and the arc up here, which is going to be 4 digits, right? Well, it depends where it hits. If it hits later on, like 2026, 2027, it could be like 900, but it's probably going to end up grabbing up here to the horizontal into the arc here. How fast is it going to go? I don't think anybody really knows the answer to that. Let's take a look at a few things here, right? Now, remember that the Gann arc here, the Gann square here is drawn on the monthly, so on the weekly is a little bit funky when I'm showing it here. But I just want to pull off the Bollinger Band. Can it? Should be 200 by now, if not that. Yeah, I know, right? Can it go higher? Yes. Are we overextended? Yes. Does it mean that we might have to kind of go sideways here for another couple of weeks before going up higher? Potentially. This is what's happening, right? We see something similar like this happen. This is generally how you get a little bit overextended. And and there's a little bit of worries here. But I still think that this area over here with the Bollinger Band kind of expanding up and down like that on the weekly is really, really very similar to the beginning of the last massive bull cycle, where Bollinger Bands are kind of expanding up and down very, very hugely. And you're kind of just getting a little bit over Bollinger Band expansion here. Probably going to end up hovering around this area for a few weeks before something more explosive happen. So I actually don't know. Like if you ask me, somebody asked me like how fast is it going to get to like 380 or 400? I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't think anybody really does. I'm going to draw a fib level from like the all-time high to the cycle low. And you can see like what it's doing. I think it's better to draw a log scale fib because that tells you exactly what it's doing. It's getting rejected at 0.8886. It's having a hard time breaking above the 0.86, right? And it's also having a hard time breaking above that because of Bollinger Band. It's just way too far away from the Bollinger Band, right? You you have a little bit of magnet back into the Bollinger Band, and you also have a hard time breaking above that zone. Understandable. What's happening over here, right? Let's see. If I use that, actually, I should probably use that right there. Use that for the high for that cycle and the low over in that cycle. And I'm going to zoom in. Where did it get rejected over here? 0.86, right? 0.86 apparently is very important for Tesla. Where do we think we're at right now? Looking at Bollinger Band, we might be right around here, right? Just way outside the upper Bollinger Band on a weekly, hanging out. We might need to kind of cool down. Maybe we even need to potentially come back down to the 0.76 FIB level, build up more energy before skyrocketing, right? Do I think it's going to skyrocket? I actually don't know the answer to that either. We may not. But would it be so bad? Would it be so bad that if it ends up getting rejected over here, come back down to 0.786, find some support here around 300 again before going up higher? That would not be so bad. Doesn't if your longer term target is 700, like I'm not going to be trying to sell here and trying to buy that lower. That's just not my style. But is it possible going down to like 300, 307, or even like 320? It's possible. Anything's possible. You got like all these support levels that are like way down below. You have like maybe like a little bit of rising technication here on the Super Ichi. The bar support band is all the way down here, right? We are overextended, so I'm not sure when price is going to get to like the 380 to 400 level. It might be another few weeks, or it might be another couple months, but it's a bull trend. So I'm just going to be patient. I'm not going to play too much around it. Those are really like the max 7 that I really want to talk about. I mean, I can talk about NVIDIA and just kind of end that talk, and then I'm going to get to a couple of requests that you guys have. NVIDIA, if you look at the monthly chart, I still think that is taking off from the I still think it's taking off from the GAN arc over here, just like it did last cycle, to have another move up. I don't think it's going to happen this quickly. It might happen a little bit slower, but it's already kind of taken off from the arc, kind of over here. It's already taken off from the arc, even though it feels like price has done nothing. But I think it's probably going to, over the next year, probably going to hit like 350. That's all I'm going to say. The Ichimoku, the Tenkan here is rising. I think it's going to allow price to just keep going higher. But I do think that the trend is starting to get a little bit exhausted because of the sideways action over here. So I do think that this might be the cycle top around 350, maybe even lower. It doesn't have to do what I think it's going to do, right? If I do some FIB levels, it maybe gets to 2.618, around 228 or something like that, and that's it. Runs out of fume, comes back, kind of like over here, right? It didn't get to the arc here. Runs out of fume, comes back, back test some of the stuff here before eventually going up higher. So that's NVIDIA. We are going to talk about a couple of requests here, kind of get them out of the way. I gotta say, it looks like it's just kind of reclaiming the volume shelf over here. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of broken below and kind of breaking back above. Nice tweezer bottom over here, a little bit trendless. If I do like a lot of these indicators, it's going to be trendless. Like 20-month moving average, flat. Right now you're underneath of that, but you're stuck in a range. You're stuck in 20-month moving average. You're also stuck at a big giant volume shelf down here below, right? If you look at Ichimoku, you're stuck underneath the Tenkan Kijun. I would like to really see it reclaiming the 20-month moving average and the monthly Tenkan Kijun before I really get super bullish about it. So far, it's still an accumulation range. I don't think it necessarily has to make a lower low. It's just range bound, and I don't really know like when that's going to be. It's still underneath a lot of resistance. It's still trying to basically work out the technicals, right? If I look at the weekly moving averages, and this might give me a little bit more insight here. If I look at the weekly moving averages, let me see. Where it's basically just trendless. Like right now, I would like to see 20 is the orange, 50 is the blue, and 100 is the black, right? I would like to see them all stack on the right side. Initially, it had a chance, but it just ended up breaking down everything around. Right now, you have like a bunch of moving averages kind of bunch up against one another. Like I don't know what it's doing. Because I don't know what it's doing, I'm probably not gonna like do anything about it. If I also just kind of zoom out here because I don't know what it's doing, one way to look at it would be to, well, I mean, if I look at the VWAP, yeah, it's way up above. There's nothing to say about it. If I do again from the bottom over here, and if I just do 720, let me see if I see symmetry here. 720. I'm going to do 0.5. Nah, I'm not really seeing anything. 1, I'm not seeing anything. 0.1. 0.1, you might have something here. The arcs here serve as pretty decent market symmetry. I mean, it went above the square here at a certain point, but you can see that the arc here serve as really decent market symmetry. So this is kind of telling you what it's doing. Broke down from one arc to another, from one arc to another, and it came back, fine horizontal support zone over here. This horizontal support zone for, again, has been very, very important, right? You can see that. And what is it doing right now? Well, it's trying to break above. Got rejected here by the arc above and rejected hard. Came all the way back down because it broke down underneath the angle. Where did it find support? At the horizontal line over here again in the angle. Where does price want to go? It's just stuck in the middle, right? Naturally, I think it probably wants to go back up here to the arc around like 14 or 15. I can't guarantee it though. I just can't guarantee it. But yeah, it's trendless. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if it wasted your super chat to be told that it's trendless. Our LRCX, yeah, this is a semiconductor company. I'm gonna zoom out here to the monthly here. This doesn't look bad at all because honestly, what is it doing? It looks like a big giant cup and handle breakout and a back test. You got a lot of wicks over here. I think the correction is getting close to being over, which I think overall in general that's the case for a lot of the semiconductor sector here. Broke underneath the rising Tenkan, found support here at the kitchen. I really think that the correction is almost over. You are breaking underneath the 20-month moving average though, so I don't like that part of it, but it's still at a very important horizontal zone over here as a back test, right? The key is going to be volume. The volume of the last 3 months has been a little bit high while it's kind of going sideways. I think somebody's accumulating over here. I don't like the fact that November is underneath the rising 20, but neither did I like the Clean Spark being underneath the 20-month moving average here either. Eventually just end up to be, just being a wick, right? So who is there to say that we still have another week of trading? Who's there to say, right? I just wish that it was above so I can feel a little bit more confident about the stock. But horizontal wise speaking, I think it's fine. More support band, it's probably going to need a few, at least like another couple months to a few weeks to kind of try to reclaim the bar support band because it's still very, very negative sloping. So it's just unfortunate. Sometimes you're going to have these kinds of things. But yeah, it probably needs some time to correct its trend. I still think it's at a very, very important horizontal zone. So we'll see. I don't know if it's going to necessarily break down. If it breaks down further, it would still be a relative, like a higher low compared to over here, right? After forming a higher high. So I'm not really that scared about this. If I do the FIB levels here, you can kind of see a little bit more clear in terms of what it's trying to do. Let me see. Actually, not really. I'm not really seeing any. Like, if you're talking about what could happen, right? It did break down underneath the previous all-time high here. It is getting a little bit rejected here last week, right? So can it potentially come back down to 0.76 again to like $63.85? It can. Technically, it can. But I think the downtrend over here is also, on a little bit of declining volume here too. So I would say that's probably going to be your thinking here. But yeah, I just don't like that it lost the. I just don't like that it lost the 20-month moving average. Otherwise, I still think that it's looking okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. Hopefully that was informative. I'm sorry if it wasn't. Going to talk about a whole list of requests by you guys. White Rabbit GME. I entered the GME because I think it's a bullish stock. I entered because I think I'm going to make money from it. I got again square here drawn to kind of go a little bit into the deep dive here, 1440 and 1. And you can see how it's been giving some pretty decent market symmetry here at this arc over here, where it's just kind of stuck between these two arcs for about 4 years. Broke above. What are we doing right now? Well, we're just kind of stuck in the middle. We basically broke through the Super Ichi cloud here on huge volume and low volume back testing the Super Ichi cloud, right? What is it doing right now? It looks like it's taking off. It looks like it wants to take here back to the arc up here, back into the 50s. If you are zooming out here, it's still stuck in a range, right, on the Super Ichi. But that's okay because the 20-month moving average is now from flat to positive sloping, and you got a Bollinger Band expansion on the upper and lower Bollinger Band, right? This is also happening on the weekly. Right? And you also have increasing volume. Like for a while, you've just been trendless because there's no volume. Now you have some volume coming back and the trend is up. It looks like it wants to go higher. Even the weekly Bollinger Band looks like it's very, very nicely, expanding, right? So I can't really say anything bad about GME based on looking at it. I'm bullish on it. Going back to the monthly chart here and turning back on again because I want to do a retracement analysis here. And we are breaking above the 0.382 here. We close the week about 0.382. 0.618 and 0.786, around the 40s to the 70s. That's where it looks like it's going. Do we have enough momentum for that to happen? I think so. If you look at the MCDX Plus, there's like no retail, and the whale's just like increasing like crazy. Kind of like over here, right? I think the trend's probably going to end up continuing to the upside. And this is not just on the weekly. On the daily, there's like no retail. And you can see how price is just really nicely hovering above the 0.382, which means it probably wants to grab it up to the 0.618. Now, the only concern that I have is that we've been kind of going up a little bit on some bearish divergence here on the daily, which means that either some impulsive price action would have to push up before you're able to really break the bearish divergence. Right now, you still got a little bit of negativity to it. So we'll see what happens. I like that it's back testing 0.382 and also like it's basically bounced like perfectly, right? So to me, I think it's going to go higher, but we need to break the bearish divergence here a little bit. That's all. I don't really see much of a bearish divergence on higher time frame on the monthly. I don't see any of that. I do think that 40s to 70s probably going to be the next zone that it has to go to. If it breaks about 70, then you're talking about some moon targets, like in the triple digits. But we'll get there when we get there, if we get there, right? I'm positioned to hopefully make the gains that I think will be happening sometime in maybe late this year or early next year. I do not know the timing of it. All I know is that I see a lot of similarities between here and here. That's all. I don't really like cruise lines and also I don't like the airline stocks either. The reason why is just because they're high risk when it comes to, because they always go bankrupt. Like they always have a hard time with economy going through recessions. They always go bankrupt. With that said, let me see here. I'm going to do the all-time high to all-time low here for Norwegian Cruise Line, and it's at the 0.618 foot resistance. I do think that it probably won't break through the first time. It might come back and back test some of the areas down here. It doesn't always have to go like back to like $21 or so, but that's like their absolute risk level because of how much time has spent here as resistance. That's going to be a very, very good support, right? The risk level to the upside, if it breaks the 0.618, which again, I usually don't anticipate things to just kind of break through the first time. But if it does, then you're talking about the 0.786, right? Which is going to be like a pretty good gain from here, 30-40%. But yeah, I usually don't play like airlines and things. It's just not my type, my style here. I like to look at like growth, and if I need to go for dividends, I generally like to stick with like index and things like that. I'm not good with like dividend stocks, unless if there's also a growth component to it. But yeah, it looks like it's trying to do some recovery here. It's just at resistance. So yeah, be careful at resistance. No big deal. Probably going to get rejected here. I don't know how far down it's going to go. Maybe it's going to find some support levels down further on like the Tenkin here, around 23, 24, if it ends up getting rejected. Or it might end up just having to push through here, the 0.618, just go to the top of the cloud over here around like 33, come back down, and then back test and go higher. But I think it's probably going to get rejected here, is what I'm thinking. A couple of stocks I'm going to really kind of speed through here because it's been about 40 minutes and I just want to get through as much as I can. This is HIMS. Somebody requested HIMS. The last 6 weeks has been absolutely insane for HIMS, where if you imagine, like, can you even imagine this price action here over the last, what is this? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up. What is this? Like, what the next candle is? This going to be a bearish engulfing candle the next week, and the next week's going to be a bullish engorging candle, and then like engulfing candle. Like, what is this? Now, I do have to say that is at a very confluent support zone over here. I did think that HIMS was going to find support, and support it did find. It did break down underneath the arc here a little bit. And it did go underneath 20. I didn't think it was going to go underneath 20, but it did break underneath 20 here, get back inside the arc here a little bit, but end up just having reversed all the price action of this bullish kicker over here. Now you're getting back to this like same level here on the previous all-time high, and right now you're at that same resistance level, right? So what is going to happen next for HIMS? I think it's already spent a lot of effort trying to break above the previous all-time high, so I think it's going to happen. We basically closed right at the previous all-time high, and you have all this volume that's just really been picking up, right, from this over here to this, and the volume is still there. I think it wants to push above. Where is it going to go? Well, it depends. If you are looking at, oh, by the way, it also came back and back tested 0.86 here almost perfectly, right? And then if you don't do a lock scale, yeah, break down into 0.786, but it's able to break back above. I think that it probably would end up gravitating up to like the 30, 35 zone. And 39.42 is going to be a pretty good target, which is going to be the top of this Gann square here as well. I think that's where it's gravitating up towards because of this increased volume over here on this uptrend. If it's able to break about this previous all-time high, 30, 35, 39. I'm seeing those because you have such a strong support zone down below from Fibonacci perspective, from ARK perspective, from the Gann angle perspective, even from like a lot of the higher time frame stuff. If you're looking at the Ichimoku cloud on the monthly, it really looks like it's using Tenkin to as support to push price up higher. And this whole trend over here, the last 3 candles on the uptrend, was on huge volume on the way up. Huge volume on the way up. So I think HIMS is going to, HIMS it out, if you will. Lemonade. Of course you ask about this stock because November is the month to remember. Of course you ask about that. What should we worry about in terms of Lemonade? Well, let's see. I already have the FIB levels drawn here. I think it's probably going to end up going to $62 and maybe even wick into like the bottom of this cloud over here. I don't know if it's going to go straight there, or whether or not it's going to happen in December, but that's probably where it's going to go. If the month end up closing about the 0.5 and 0.382, which it looks like it will, right? huge volume coming in after a big giant consolidation zone that's lasted for about 3 years. The move can be very powerful, and it has been very powerful. The only issue is that it's overextended. Can things be way overextended for a very long time? Yes, it can. But the monthly upper Bollinger Band right now is 33.8, and price is around 50. I would not chase here. If I would have bought down here, I would have held, but I would not chase just because I'm not a chaser. But you know what I think could happen? And I would be like, I'd be like, okay, if you're gonna do that, do it. It could be like bam, 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 and it ends up hitting $100 by early 2025 is possible. Anything's possible, and that's possible. The top of the cloud, which is still being formed, is probably around $100. But it's overextended. I don't like it because it's overextended, so I won't buy. I like to buy things before they take off. It's just not my style. And it's just way above a lot of the support zone, like the weekly Ichimoku, not even mention like the Buena support band, not even mention any of that, right? It's way outside the upper Bollinger Band on the weekly too. Upper Bollinger Band on the weekly is 36.85, right? Is in 50 right now. But it's also an increasing volume, so I'm not going to bet against it. It's a hold. It's not a buy, it's not a sell, it's a hold to me. That is lemonade. Coinbase. Woo! Look at all this stuff here that I have here. I'm going to take off. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to clean up all this junk because you don't need all this. But I'll leave the GAN here. But I'll even take that off for now. What's happening? What's happening since September 2024? Well, price has been up a lot. It's doubled. That's what's happened, right? It's also doubled on on increasing volume too over the last 2 or 3 months. And it was happening with this big giant bullish engulfing candle. Right now we're hitting some resistance up here in the air. What kind of thing, you might say? Well, if you do a GAN square 375 and you turn off the volume, you can see this beautiful market symmetry. Beautiful market symmetry where means something, arc here means something, arc here means something. You see how it turned it from resistance into support here on this arc, and then it's just bounced parabolically. Initially, I thought even that it was going to get rejected at an angle, but nope, it just pushed through the angle right now. It's stuck on the arc right here. It's stuck on an arc up here, and it's also using the angle potentially as support, right? There's nothing really bearish about Coinbase. There are 2 like doji candles up in space. Does it mean they're going to have a trend reversal? Maybe, maybe not, but you have increasing volume during this uptrend, right? Is there any other thing that get me concerned here? Well, it's doing some natural behavior because it's hovering underneath the 0.886 Fibonacci level after successfully break out away from the 0.76, right? See how it was a big rejection zone here? Breakout. Right now it's underneath resistance, but it's also finding support here to angle and arc. I think it just needs to consolidate sideways here for a little bit longer anyway, because the last couple of weeks have been way outside the upper Bollinger Band here on the weekly. On the monthly is fine. It's probably still got room to go up. It's like the upper Bollinger Band is like 301.42. That's serving a little bit as a magnet right now. You also just form a higher high here compared to here, and this was a higher low compared to over here. It's got a trident over here. This is a very, very bullish demand zone over here, kind of like the trident over here. So don't be surprised that next month you're having some bullish continuation way outside the upper Bollinger Band like you did over here, right? Trident, big giant candle, another giant green candle. Don't be surprised if it happens. I wouldn't be. I continue to be on COINL because I think that this could be hitting some escape velocity soon. Over here, you have price kind of get close to this level around the 0.786, right? We had a hard time breaking above. Why do you have a hard time breaking above the 0.786? The reason why was because it was just way outside the upper Bollinger Band. It just couldn't do it. got exhausted, overstretched, got exhausted, came back down, forward trying again. From here to here, Bollinger Band has significantly extended, allowing price to go up higher. There's really like not much bearishness about Coinbase. I think initially I have a little bit of contraction here because the bull trend from here to here seemed to be a little bit exhausted here, but it looks like my starting to expand again. So, hey, Margin Call, welcome. I'm just doing my thing. I'm gonna cross out all these things here. I don't really like charting COINL because I don't have as much history, but it's the same thing. It reclaimed the 20, is going up, it got rejected here up a bull in Japan. On the weekly, it was just basically hovering underneath the upper bull in Japan here, but it's curling up and off the upper bull in Japan. It probably would continue to ride up along with the upper bull in Japan. So I'm not really that concerned about COINL. Rocket Lab. A lot of you guys are interested in Rocket Lab because it has. And what I think about Rocket Lab, I think it's probably going to continue to rocket. The issue is, are we going to hit some kind of blow off top and have a V shape down? The answer to these questions is usually a no. I think that you're going to end up having a little bit of a trend exhaustion at some point, and it will show. But right now, the trend is not exhausted. Right now, Rocket Lab looks like it wants to hit some of the higher levels, either 32, 45, 60, somewhere up here before stopping. That's what Rocket Lab looks like it wants to do. And even when it stops, it probably is just going to cool off before making another higher high while the trend gets exhausted. And that could be another year or two from now. That could be a while from now. I'm going to do SE maybe later on because I'm going to try to catch up, and then XLM, I gotcha. I want to go through I have like another like 20 stocks that I need to go through, and I have like another 15 crypto that I need to go through. So you guys may need to chill up on the request, because otherwise I'm going to run out of time. I'm going to go pee at some point too. So let me go for Rocket Lab here. I think it's probably going to hit some of these levels. The momentum is there. Bollinger Band is expanding. Low Bollinger Band is all the way down to the negatives. It's going to be fine. If you're asking me where Rocket Lab's going to end up finding like some really, really key resistance, I just show you those fit levels. I'm going to do a Gantt chart here real quick. All the way from the weekly. I think that's probably fair. And I think the low is here. So I'm going to do this. Actually, let me see. Over there, 3.48, 3.47. Okay, so I can't really use that. Now I'm going to drag this out here to 180. I'm going to do two levels, right? One is 0.5. 0.5, you could be hitting resistance right there, right, at the arc. Just like how this arc over here was initially a little bit resistance, like this angle over here is a little bit of resistance, right? If I do 1, you might have a ways to go. You might still get up to like the 30s before really seriously finding some resistance. Betting on the trend, I bet it would keep going up higher. It is overextended though, but only by 2 weeks, and it's still touching the upper Bollinger Band. So I'm not going to bet against Rocket Lab. That's Rocket Lab for you. Another stock, Grab, GRAB. GRAB is showing some behavior here that is bullish, because it looks like it has kind of broken about the 0.382 here on the first try, which is unusual. Initially, it's kind of hovering between the 0.236 here, but it looks like it just had like a clean break over here. I don't know whether or not this is a false breakout, because things generally don't break, through the 0.382 on the first try. But this is a pretty bullish stock. Like, look at the volume. The volume is very impulsive. Looking at the Bollinger Band, the Bollinger Band is also, expanding widely. So this is a very, very nice bull trend. The whole wick over here is for a reason, because you're just way outside the upper Bollinger Band. Like, you just can't do that, right? Same here on the monthly. The whole wick over here is understandable because of how far it is away from the upper Bollinger Band. But look at the volume. Like this is going to keep on going up. If this breakout over the 0. Let me see here. If this breakout over the 0.382 is real, if this breakout of 0.382 is real, and you might still close the month underneath of that, but if that's real, then you're going to probably go to like $8, from here on out. If it gets rejected, then you might have to kind of hover around here trying to build more momentum and push through. Volume looks like it might happen. You might get to 0.618. Again, I would call this a hold because it's overextended, but it's got a strong bull trend. I would not buy, I would not sell. I would call this a hold. Is that fair? I think that's fair. SQ. Yeah, so DK, I don't know the answer to that question. I haven't played NSTX. I think the reason why, like these leverage instruments, they have to find their funds somewhere, and their returns not always one-to-one. There's gonna be fees decay in the financial instruments if they're not able to grab the liquidity to provide the price to reflect. Then it may just not give you like the actual 2x. They try to do a 2x daily, but they don't guarantee it. SQ is looking the same actually as grab. It's grabby, grabby, grabby. SQ is actually looking. I told you, I think like a couple weeks ago, I thought SQ was going to break out. It's breaking out of this horizontal zone over here. It's breaking out above the 0.382, which means most likely it's going to gravitate to 0.618. It's not really overextended here in bullish band. It's just starting to expand. You have some volume to kind of kick in here. All these things are really, really bullish. And if you're looking at the monthly Ichimoku cloud and 0.618, maybe a little bit below that, or maybe if it gets here around like 134.34 early, like in January, probably not. I think it's probably going to end up over the next few months hitting like maybe 120, which is going to be right at the bottom of these Ichimoku cloud over here. It's got a bull trend here now. There's no question about that. Bullish Tenkan Kitchen cross, and also a bullish 20-month moving average, bullish band expansion, pointing up and down. Right, it wants to get up there. I don't know if it's going to hit 120, or I don't know if it's going to go beyond it, hit like 134. I don't know when it's going to happen. It's going to happen in January. It's going to happen in March. It's going to happen in May. I don't know, but it's a bull trend. And then after that, you're talking about higher levels, but that's where it looks like it wants to go. Right. LULU. Hey, Matt. Welcome. I'm going to do crypto probably on the second half after my pee break. I'm going to try to go for as much as I can before my pee break. It's already getting to like the 1 hour mark. I still have another like maybe 12 stocks to go, so I'm just going to go for them real quick. Okay. I got a Gann square here, 360 and 2 on LULU. Right now, I don't know because it's kind of broken underneath the arc over here and it's back testing its resistance. Look at the volume. I'm not sure if it will break through because the volume is kind of going down, right? But I think it probably found perfect support over here around 226. It might hover around here at the arc before breaking through. I just want more volume to kind of come in to really support that. It's broken back into the Ichimoku cloud over here. So maybe all it's doing is probably going to end up hovering around here at the bottom of the arc at the monthly Ichimoku cloud while trying to push through, build up enough energy to try and push through. But right now it's kind of going back in the resistance zone over here. It probably needs to build a lot more energy and need more volume for you to kind of go up. It's a higher high here and a lower low here. I don't know which way it's going to go, man. Like there's no way for me to tell. Zoom out here, do a 2-month Ichimoku. It bounced almost close to a 2-month Ichimoku. It's fine. I can see bullish continuation, but it's going to need a lot more energy to break through this big 8 months of downtrend. Like it's just not going to resolve that all of a sudden, right? The 20-month moving average is screamingly unhappy because right now you kind of got to a low Bollinger Band here, bounce. You do have a very nice trident look to it. So it probably wants to go back to the mean here over time to maybe a 350, 360 zone. I don't know how it's going to react there. So I'm not buying Lululemon because I don't know. I don't like the fact that when it goes up like this and then the 20-month moving average just goes sideways and the price is underneath of that, I never know what's going to happen, right? Like over here, trend got exhausted, dipped down below, test the low Bollinger Band. Could we be like here where we are over here? It's possible. Could we just kind of break through and back test and go higher? It's possible, but there's no guarantee. I guess is what I'm trying to say. There's no guarantee. ASTS, the space energy, whatever company, like everybody was super bullish on because of this big 4 months of up only. And I was basically like on August, I think somebody asked me to chart this. On August, I basically said way overextended, needs to cool off. And then over the last 3 months, it's been cooling off sideways. The good thing is all of this are engulfed by this green candle over here. So I think it's going to be a bullish continuation afterwards. It's just needed to cool down. But with that said, I also think that the trend is probably starting to kind of get tired over here because the lower Bollinger Band is starting to kind of stop, expanding. It's just forming a bull flag over here. I think it probably just needs to cool off before further bullish continuation. Usually this cool off can happen for like, 2 or 3 months, sometimes longer. But I think that it's probably going to go up higher. Now, do I think that it's going to end up beasting just like how it has done before? Not necessarily. I think that it probably still has some ways to go. I'm going to pull up the weekly here because I did the GAN here on the weekly, 180 and 1. I think that it's hitting a resistance zone over here, and it's also backtesting. Where is it backtesting? 0.786, right? Very important fit level. It looks like it wants to push through the arc and go higher to the next arc. But I think that this bull trend might be over after it pushes through and hits the arc up here around $63.23. Maybe sometime over the next few months. I think this trend is really exhausting. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I am bullish on this. This looks like a big giant bull flag that wants to continue, but the trend is starting to look tired. I don't know how it's going to react. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it gets up there, Bollinger Band ends up expanding again on the monthly and allowing price to kind of go up higher. Maybe it's just get that impulsive. But I just think that maybe another, 2 or 3x or something like that, and that might be the end of cycle. If it surprises me, it goes up higher, great. I mean, I don't know the fundamentals of this, but that's kind of my thought. But I think that we are at a juncture where price is probably going to end up just keep going up higher. I'm going to have UTI by the end of the stream. I'm going to go through another 10 stocks, honestly. Like, I have to speed this through real quick before I get to go pee, because I want to cut this into 2 parts. Micron, what do I think? What do I think about Micron? I drew Micron stuff like a while back. Hard for me to chart. All these semiconductor stocks, like the LCRX, just look the same. It's basically just kind of going sideways over here, which is unfortunate. It looks like it's just kind of back testing this previous high over here after it made a high here. This is still considered to be a higher low as far as I'm concerned, but it's stuck in a range right now. What I think about the 20-month moving average, I think it needs to reclaim the 20-month moving average because it's negative sloping right now. It's still resistance. It might take another few months for it to kind of break out, but I don't know. It's really hard for me to picture. One thing that is bullish on it, though, is it's still trying to hold on to the monthly Ichimoku cloud, but it's also hitting a little bit of Tenkan resistance here, right? So the best thing for it to do maybe over the next month or two, kind of hover around the bottom of the cloud here and keep going up, but there's a risk of losing the cloud because it's back tested multiple times. If it loses the cloud, which is not going to be surprising because the 20-month moving average is pushing it down, you have 2 different opposing forces here. You have the Ichimoku cloud holding it up. You have the Tenkan pointing up as resistance. You have the 20-month moving average going down as resistance. You're stuck in a range. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not entering it. If you are in Micron, all I can say is I think it's probably still going to do okay because overall market structure is still higher high and higher low. But I would really like to see it form a higher high before I can really feel like safe about it. I'm going to do a little bit of a higher time frame here. And I'm going to go all the way to like the not the dot-com bubble, but to the great financial crisis here. I'm going to do it again. I haven't done this before, so bear with me. And why am I doing it again when I need to go pee? Because I care. That's why. I usually like to do one. See any market symmetry here? Yeah, you do, right? Arc rejection, arc support, angle rejection, arc support, break through the arc, back test the arc, back test the arc, broke through the arc, rejected near the arc, came back down right now, it's in space. Oh man, this is tough. It's in space. What should I do? I don't know. I don't know. It's underneath the monthly. Sorry, I guess that was a weekly, but it's also under the monthly Kijun too. It's underneath resistance. This is a really hard chart. I can't enter it. It's finding support here at the previous all-time high, and it's getting stuck here at the monthly Kijun. This is a really hard stock. Sorry, that was a weekly chart. So monthly actually still looks very bullish. Monthly still looks very bullish. I think this is still a very nice tweezer bottom, but you got a trident top here. It's stuck in a range, guys. I don't know. Just let us do its thing. Like, I think this is a hold. It is a hold. I don't have anything else to say about it. This is a hold. All right, another stock crossed up. FUBO. Let's do it. What do I think about FUBO? I think FUBO is something that I've been keeping an eye on, but I cannot enter it. It looks like it could be forming an Adam and Eve. How Adam and Eve's generally form is you have a very, very bad downtrend. You have a negative sloping 20-month moving average. And wherever you have the Adam being formed, it usually gets rejected by a negative sloping 20-month moving average. And the Eve is trying to neutralize the 20-month moving average from being negative sloping to be a little bit more flat to positive sloping. So you use that as a vulnerability to try and push above, backtest it, and go higher. That's generally what the Eve does, right? So Adam and Eve looks like it's doing that. Looks like if you trust this move, because there's never any certainty, this could break down and form a lower low. You don't know. But you're betting, if you buy here, you're betting this is an Adam and Eve. You're betting that this is turning flat. You're betting this is going to end up reclaiming that backtest and go higher. You're betting on this. There's no guarantee. But let's see. I want to see the wave trend oscillator. But the wave trend oscillator is still turning positive, right? I mean, I don't know. Actually, at some point, I'm tempted to get into FUBO. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's also underneath a negative sloping Tenkan resistance, right? So it's just not ready yet. It's just not ready yet. But by the time it's ready, if it push through backtest, you're talking about already like $2 FUBO once it's secured, which is the price that you pay if you want confirmation, right? If you don't want confirmation, the price you pay is it could make a lower low, and you can't guarantee that it won't, right? So that's kind of what I have to say about FUBO. I don't have much else to say. Like, everything else is useless. I can do these FIB levels and all that. It all is useless. All you have to do is think about the risk reward. You buy here, potential lower low. If you buy, wait for confirmation, you're basically buying like 60% higher, right? So that's FUBO. APP. Hey, Jules, welcome. I hope UTI is not a chart request. I'm just kidding. APP. What is APP doing? APP is, man, I don't even know. Like, it's these things are just so hard to chart. This is a bull trend. The question is whether or not it's overextended. It is overextended. The question is, where's the resistance level? Because things can stay overextended for a long time. It probably would hit. I'm gonna bring out 2 FIB levels here. One is the 1.414. The other one is 1.618. It's hitting 1.414. It could get rejected here, or it could just keep pushing up to 1.618 and get rejected there, right? So those are the 2 levels to look at. We are right at resistance. We are right at resistance. The other thing to look at for a chart like this, weekly again, from the bottom all the way up. I'm going to do I'm going to do 360. I'm going to do 360 here. And I'm going to do 10. Is that resistance, right? Is that resistance? Like, this is crazy. I just type in some numbers and you see like this arc is like resistance, flip support. Here you have like resistance over here, push through, back test, push through, back test, push to the next level, back test the arc up here. Right now you're at a resistance level up here, right? So again, either here or it can go up higher to like the 700s. But you still have the 1.618 level that I was showing you around the 500. So yeah, those are potential profit taking zone, but it's a very impulsive uptrend. I don't know how far it's going to go. It could keep going to the moon for all I know. All I know is at resistance levels right now. That's all I can say. There's absolutely no like bearish divergences to be worried about right now. Like there's no bearish divergence here on the weekly. On the monthly, there's no bearish divergence. I knew that. I don't even have to look at RSI to know because there's no sign of exhaustion. Just looking at it. This looks like Palantir. I don't know when it's going to stop. This is a hold. Next, DDOG. DDOG, what is it doing? Break about the 0.618. Looks like it wants to go to 0.786. $170. This is a bull trend. Once it gets to 0.786 at around $170, we'll see how it reacts. I doubt it's going to push through the first time. It probably will end up getting rejected and come back down, maybe even back to the 0.618, around 146, 147. Back test before further bullish continuation. You already broke through the monthly Ichimoku cloud. Weekly Ichimoku cloud, everything looks bullish. You know that it's a bullish stock. The question is like is if it gets rejected here, the 0.76 around $170, where is it going to find support at? That's what I'm thinking right now. And I really don't know the answer to that because all the averages are down here below. So all I'm going to say, if I put a 20-month moving average, is even get to 0.382, right? All I'm going to say right now is I think it wants to get up here by December, and it will get rejected probably. And it's going to probably come back and backtest some stuff here. If it pushes through the 0.786, then you just hold because it can get up to like some of these crazy levels up above. That's pretty much all I have to say. It's a bull trend. Don't bet against a bull trend. If you already bought down here, if you bought these wicks over here when the 20-month moving average is rising up like that, and when it's holding 0.382 like perfectly, you did it right. You just hold and you just get the rewards. If at some point if you're scared, you can take some profits off of here in 0.786. It could just keep pushing up higher. It could just keep going. Thank you, Jules. I appreciate that. I appreciate you always. You don't have to do that, but I thank you. I feel like I'm working really hard. I don't know why. Anyway, Peloton. This stock, for a very long time, really reminds me of PayPal. And it is bullish now. Peloton is bullish now. The only thing on Peloton is that I would like for it to form a higher high because it's still a lower high and a lower low, but it's getting over the 20-month moving average, which is promising. All it has to do is just stay up here for a few months to turn the 20-month moving average flat. And then I'm going to be like, hey, Peloton is not a bad stock. Right now, it's not a falling knife per se, but we're not out of the woods because I still would love to see the higher high. But the fact that it reclaimed the 20-month moving average is promising. I like the fact that it reclaimed the 20-month moving average. I also like the fact that it reclaimed the monthly Tenkan, the blue line over here, is stuck in a range. It's probably going to end up stuck in a range here for a few months. Where's the top of the range right now? Is $10.26. Where's the bottom of the range? And this is going to be dynamic, but the bottom range right now is $6.24. I would like for it to kind of consolidate sideways here a little bit more. I don't think it's just going to V-shape because you have a negative sloping upper Bollinger Band as resistance. And you can see how it's serving as resistance. There's no doubt about it. You have a weekly bull trend. It looks like it wants to go higher, but the monthly is saying, not yet. You're also hitting some horizontal resistance level over here too, right? On top of all that, volume is also going down. You have increasing volume kind of push price up here to that level. The volume is going down. You're having a hard time kind of push above. You do have a bullish engulfing. Don't get me wrong, but I just think that you might need to kind of consolidate sideways here underneath like $10 here a little bit longer before pushing up. And when it does that, then I'll be a lot more bullish on Peloton. Woo! NNE. NNE is a new stock. I don't have much levels. Going to the weekly chart here, all I can really say for NNE is that it's broken about the 0.786. is a very, very bullish look to it. You have increasing last 3 months, no, last 3 weeks, sorry, on increasing volume. So you're probably going to end up having to go up to the 1.618 here at the $56.80. You're probably going to end up hitting the ARK up here. And that could be a resistance level. That's my best guess, right? It can also hit the previous all-time high, get rejected, come back down, back test to 0.76 before going up higher. But right now, I feel like it's a decent area if you want to enter. It's a decent area to do so, with the exception that there's always exception. With the exception that you're also a little bit about the upper Bollinger Band, which is why I think that you're probably going to end up maybe going up higher to previous all-time high, get rejected, coming back down, back test to 0.76 before further bullish continuation, rather than it just going directly up here because of the weekly upper Bollinger Band. Does it have to happen that way? No. This is all just a guess. But this is a bullish chart. There's no way to think otherwise. This is a bullish chart. So, plug. Do I want to enter plug power? Do I want to enter the plug? The answer is probably no. But I gotta say, I'm looking at something here. I gotta say this. I think it's forming a bullish divergence here for a very long time, and you don't even need to put the RSI. You can see it; it's rounding. If you look at the log chart, if it's rounding like that, because if you look at a linear chart, it's gonna tell you nothing, right? But if you look at the logarithmic chart, and it's rounding like this, you already know that there's some bullish divergence that's been going on for a long time. On the weekly here, on the 2-week chart here, on the monthly chart, you have a little bit of bullish divergence over here too. It's to catch a falling knife, but guess what? I can't guarantee it's not going to make a lower low. It hasn't made a higher high yet. Like, it hasn't made a higher low yet. It's just a downtrend, right? I cannot buy plug power because if you look at the 20-month moving average, it's like way negative sloping, right? Even if you bounce from here, even if you form a very nice bottom, you have some bullish divergence here. And if you are interested in trading this, it can make 100% gain up here to $4, and you can hit a very negative sloping 20-month moving average, and it's going to end up getting slapped, right? Doesn't mean that it's going to end up hitting like another lower low. Possible. I can't say for sure. I can't buy something like this. I just can't buy something like this unless I want to trade short term, which is not what I do. Could it potentially come back up here to like the 10 near around $3.30? Possible. That'd be a significant amount of gain and get people really excited. But can I guarantee that that's going to be a higher high and that's going to change the trend? I cannot. Just because there is bullish divergence on the RSI doesn't mean price won't go down further, right? But if you want to trade, I think plug power is fine. The thing about it too, though, is there's no guarantee, because I feel that you're always going to potentially have some like uptrend like this where it just can't reverse a downtrend that looks absolutely vicious. You're going to have some potential, like something like this is going to reverse the downtrend, that's like a capitulation kind of thing. I can never guarantee that, right? There's not even like that much volume. I guess back then it was capitulation volume over here. There's never been any more volume like that before. But here, like, are we capitulating? Like, what are we doing? I don't know. Like, volume is increasing. What are we doing? Are we having a trend reversal? I don't know. I can never guarantee that. Like, if IWM is holding well, I bet plug is going to do well. Maybe it's going to push about 3.34. Maybe it does something like this. I don't know. And make a lower high up here to the Ichimoku collider around $20, and I'm missing a 10x. I don't know. There's no way for me to guarantee that. I can't guarantee that that's going to happen, so I'm not going to do that. Somebody requested Fair Isaac Corporation. Fair Isaac Corporation, this is a monthly chart. You can see that it's overextended. It's see that whenever things are overextended, it can stay overextended for months and months of time, but eventually you're going to end up going sideways here for several months. And I think we're at that juncture. Probably needs to cool down. Here, right, when we go above the Tenkan here, had to cool down for another 4 months. I think we're getting close to that juncture. If you look at the upper Bollinger Band, same thing, right? A little bit over upper Bollinger Band here. We might need to kind of cool down here sideways. but the lower Bollinger Band is also expanding. But you're also having a little bit of decreasing volume here. So like I favor that we're a little bit overextended. I favor we're probably going sideways here. But I don't know, man. I mean, this candle, like it's just expanded Bollinger Band here again. I'm not going to enter something like this again. If I was down here, if I bought it around like the 400s, I'm just going to let it ride because it looks like the bull trend is still strong. It looks like it's just going to keep going. And I don't care if it just goes sideways for like 3 or 4 months. I really don't care. It looks like it wants to just keep going higher. But yeah, I generally don't like to buy something like this because the higher it goes, the more risk there is. What if one day I'm in a coma and I don't know how to sell stocks because I'm in a coma? I like if I buy something like this and I forgot about it, it whenever it's done with like its expansion, it could have some really brutal correction. I don't know where it's going to be, but yeah, I don't even know what to say about it. So it's a hold. It's a hold. Um, and if you want to like buy it when it consolidates sideways, maybe. But yeah, I think it's time for it to consolidate a little bit more. Um, I have 3 more stocks I can go through. It's been like nonstop, hour and a half me just talking. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a pee break. After that, I have Affirm, I have CrowdStrike. I'm gonna talk about SE, and I'm gonna go through a bunch of crypto, about like 12 to 15 of them, and I'm gonna end the show. All right, I can do that in half an hour, no problem. Absolutely, I can totally do that in half an hour. All right, where is my texting? There you go. Yeah, texting. Taking a pee break. Be back in a few. I'm gonna make sure that the whole world sees it in 40 text. I'll be right back. Wash my hands, stayed hydrated, I'm back. Let's go through the rest of the stocks here. Affirm, one of my favorite holdings. I love Affirm. I should never love a stock, but I love Affirm because I really been in it for a very long time. And and I really kind of gone down and gone up with it. And I'll just kind of leave it as that. But right now, I think my cost average is like around the 30s. And it looks like it just wants to keep going higher because it just broke above again arc over here. It broke above the 0.618, so it's probably going to go to the 90s, around $92. It could hit the arc up here around like the 120s. It's possible. I think that's probably where it's going to go, maybe by like Q2 of 2025. All these fintech stocks are really roaring. I think Affirm is just one example. Upstart looks great. Square is looking great. SoFi is looking great. I think a lot of these higher targets probably end up getting hit. That's kind of what I think. I don't really have like too much else to say about it. It's a bull trend and the volume is there. I think it was probably going to go up a lot higher. The Ichimoku Cloud had a katana and it's really worked out. Katana is when there's the red line and blue line here fused together, and it had a bullish cross and it just kind of expand out. Very, very bullish. I love it. Like there's really not much else to say about it. The monthly Ichimoku Cloud bullish tension cross here pushing above. Like it looks like we've kind of broken underneath over here, broke through, back tested support, and now we're running. 20-month moving average, very nice, right? Are we overextended? Yeah, but the bullish band is expanding. I think it's probably maybe have enough momentum to get to like the 90s before worry about any potential trend exhaustion, things like that. The entire downtrend over here was on super low volume, and volume is just now starting to pick up. Yeah, nothing bearish about Affirm. CrowdStrike. I think yeah, CrowdStrike is looking great. Like the entire scare thing was understandable. It was correcting. Oh man, I have a lot of junk here. It was correcting where it needed to correct. Like this is a completely expected kind of correction here, because let me see here. I want to do the 1.414. Yeah, because if you are, I'm going to take out, I'm going to take out again. I'm going to re-add it later. Because if you're talking about the monthly chart here, what is it doing? It just went beast mode all the way from like $92 all the way to like $383. It went from here to here, made a tremendous amount of gain in a short period of time, got rejected right off the 1.414 Fibonacci level, right there on the dot, right? Came back down, found back tested at 0.618, also back tested the rising 20-month moving average, right? It just went way too far, way too fast. It's just back testing all these things that needed back test, right? And it found support and it passed and it just wanted to go higher. I think it's going to go to the 1.618 next, right? I think it's going to break about it this time, because last time it was just a little bit too exhausting. It went up all the way over here, and you already see that you have like a little bit of exhaustion here. If you can look at the RSI, you can see like a little bit of exhaustion here, just trying to push up. And RSI is just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go sideways, exhausted, put it down, found support down, push back up. Looks like it wants to go higher. Next level after it pushed through 1.414 around $383, $425. Next level, where's the 2.72, and then 2. Yeah, next level 500, 560, 630, 632. It's a bull trend. I guess that's what I'm trying to illustrate. Now I'm gonna show the GAN here again because I drew that for a reason, and I bet I drew this on the weekly here. So I'm gonna go to a weekly. I'm gonna turn off the volume because it's too busy. I'm gonna go to a weekly. I'm also gonna shut off the Fibonacci level here for you to appreciate the GAN chart 720 and 1. Beautiful market symmetry. Beautiful market symmetry, right? Arc resistance, false breakout, arc resistance, arc support, arc resistance, broke through, arc resistance, broke through, came back down, horizontal zone back test, broke through, arc resistance, now we're breaking through, right? The whole trend up was just getting tired, and this is a break. Bounce through, we took the break that is necessary, bounce through, broke back above the arc here. Looks like it wants to re-challenge the all-time high here at the horizontal. I think this time it's going to push through. Once it pushes through, You're going up to the 500s, maybe even 600, maybe sometime in 2025 is my best guess. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. I'm not seeing any major concern. It's just breaking level after level after level. You might get some initial rejection here at the previous all-time high. You might end up kind of hovering around here, maybe even come back and back test the arc, build on more energy before pushing through sometime 2025, but I bet it's probably get there. Not deterministic, just I think probabilistic, based on what it's doing. Probably down then up is my best guess. One more stock here, SE. SE I used to own. I think I sold like right around here. I never looked back. It did this thing, but I went into like Tesla, I went to other things, doesn't matter. Money if you're like in the market long enough. But yeah, I think I saw it here, plummeted down further, and then it just kind of reclaimed Fibonacci level after Fibonacci level after Fibonacci level. Right now it's kind of stuck at 0.5 as resistance, which is understandable. Let me see. If I look at the Ichimoku, yeah, I mean, it's a bull trend. There's really not much else to say. I think it wants to hit the 0.618, but it's hitting the 0.5 right now as resistance. It could potentially come back down to 0.382 because we haven't really back tested it. We broke through, we haven't really back tested really the 0.382, and that could still happen. That's also the weekly vision here. 0.382 is 85 bucks. But does it have to? No, not necessarily. It could have some bullish continuation all the way to the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud up here, or the 0.618 over here. Bottom of Ichimoku cloud is around like 140. Top of the 0.618 is around like 150. Somewhere up there. I think it's probably one of gravity up there. Do I think it has enough juice to do that? Yes, because the Bollinger Band is expanding up and down. We're a little bit overextended. We're at a fib level resistance. So any like shenanigans can happen before going up. But the path of least resistance probably to the 0.618 or 140 and 150 is probably my guess. But we are at resistance, so be careful. A couple of things about the resistance level. Again, if it comes back down, I bet the Tenkan is going to rise up to the next month to like maybe up here. So that's probably going to serve as support, maybe even like to the $100 level here. You have some horizontal levels over here too as support. And also on top of all that, you look at the volume shelf. Yeah, the volume shelf is really huge, around like $85, right? But before that, you have some volume shelf around like 95. So it has to come back down to back test like the $95 range, like right around here, this break and around this doji here. It can, right? Before third bullish continuation, it doesn't have to all the way come back to 0.382. But it could also just keep on pushing up to 0.618. It's a hold. It's a hold. Upward risk 140, 150. Downward risk 85. Done. Somebody asked me about like some Asia stocks. I have no idea what this is. Oh, I guess it's Singapore, right? So I can look at OCDC, which is a bank. Yeah, this is probably going to be the only stock that I do because I still have a bunch of crypto I need to get to. Fibonacci level from up top here, going down. I'm going to pull up some intermediary fit level 1.414. Perfect. This is the moment of time where a bunch of stuff is getting rejected here by the 1.414 logarithmic Fibonacci level. Like this is where it's getting hit at. It's also way overextended. So yeah, you're probably end up having some sideways correction over here. You can't just keep on going up parabolic like this. If it's going to hit resistance, it's going to either at 1.414 or 1.618, right? How far is it going to correct? That's anybody's guess. If you're talking about some of the fib levels that you want to look at underneath below, maybe we can look at for example, 1.236. That's usually a potential area where price can get stuck here. And it could just basically be back testing this horizontal level over here. You can get stuck between 15 and 16, or you could come back all the way to the previous all-time high and just kind of back test some stuff. I don't think it's going to do that because I think the 20-month moving average is going to keep rising up here. So it's probably going to end up just going sideways here a little bit before the 20-month moving average catches up, before some further bullish continuation. I don't know, but a little bit overextended at an important Fibonacci level. So be careful. That's all. Yeah, that's the only one I'm going to do. Crypto. Stargate. Somebody asked me about Stargate Finance. STG, right? I wouldn't enter it because it's like just been forming like lower low, and lower high and lower low. I wouldn't enter it. I don't know what I would. I'm not seeing any indicators to let me know that this is safe to enter. I'm looking at like everything. I'm looking at like the only thing that's like remotely positive is some monthly bullish divergence where price has gone down a lot and RSI just go up a lot. But the RSI is doing like the 20s and 30s. Like this doesn't mean anything. You can make a lower low. There's no guarantee. So I'm probably not Stargate Finance. And I don't even really need to look too more into that. I got the auction USD token. Which one should I choose? There's so many. If I click Coinbase, what I'm going to see here is that it's got a big giant cup and a big giant handle, and it hasn't broken above the handle yet. Now, if I do, I wonder if I do a VWAP here. Yeah, let's do it resistance. If I do a VWAP, which is a volume weighted average price, it's stuck between resistance and support. It's stuck in a range. Okay, that's what's happening. It's stuck in a range. If you do a, let me delete that. Can I delete it? I can't. I just want to delete that thing. There you go. 20-month moving average. Initially, it was pointing way up, and now is kind of flattening out a little bit. I really would like to see it reclaiming the 20-month moving average, have some bullish continuation. This is just a big giant handle. And that, yeah, it's just not volume. Okay, looking at volume makes me feel a lot safer. You're going to have some bullish continuation here because there's no volume of this downtrend, and the 20-month moving average is probably going to end up being support. I'm not worried about this. Looking at it, looking at a Fibonacci, make this a log scale. You're holding the 0.382. You're fine. You got rejected at the 0.786. You're holding 0.382, you're fine. Consolidate here a little bit longer, and then you push up, right? No big deal. I'm not worried about auction. I think it's probably got resistance levels here above, but I think it's probably ending its correction. 0.618, 0.786, $22, $36.62. Those are going to be my target for auction. Cross XRP. What do you want to know about XRP besides the fact that it's bullish? It's at a horizontal resistance level over here, right? What do you think about it? Well, let's take a look at it. This is really the first candle that has really kind of broken out during this bull cycle. Before here, you had this really impulsive candle over here that kept on going. And then the time before that, you had this big candle over here with a bearish engulfing candle next month, but it ends up kept on going, right? You had a bullish band expansion fully, and price kept going higher. Right now, you just start having a bullish band expansion on the monthly. So I think that, as crazy as it sounds, I think that XRP is going to keep going higher. It's trying to break above the previous high here in the last cycle, but there's no doubt that it held the 0.382. It just slides through the 0.61 and 0.76 like butter. Does it have to come back and back test these areas? Actually, this is the market cap. I should do this. This is better. It broke through this. Initially, I thought I was going to do this. It didn't. it just pushed through, right? It broke the trend line. If I do a fit level here, from here to here, this makes a lot more sense. It broke above these 0.382 convincingly. It broke above these 0.618 where it got rejected here last time convincingly. It broke about the 0.76 here so far, but the month is still early, right? You still have another week. It broke about the monthly Ichimoku cloud. I don't think it's going to come back to the Ichimoku cloud here anymore. I think it might come back to the 0.786, or it might even get rejected here for the month of November, which is not bad because it just means that price currently just go back down to like $1.31, which is not bad. I just don't know whether or not it's going to have some further bullish continuation. It's just way overextended, but it can stay overextended for a very long time. My guess is it closed the month underneath the $1.31 and then have further bullish continuation over the next few months. I think it would probably hit some targets up here above $4, $6. I think it's possible. If you are asking me some higher targets, that's when I don't know. Like that's when I don't know. Could it potentially hit some of the levels? I'm gonna even at like 2.272, not 32, 2.272. Could potentially hit like $12, 21, 28, 41. That's a pretty large market cap. I don't know. But I think it's probably going to end up hitting like $4 and $6, and that would not be too shabby. But if it hits some of the higher targets, great, awesome. If you think that these logarithmic fit levels are too bullish, then yeah, I still think it's probably going to hit like at least $4, $6, or $7 here. I'm bullish on XRP, right? On the linear here, you got rejected here at 0.76, which is understandable, right? Maybe it ends up hanging out here between 0.786 and 0.618 here for a little bit before pushing up to higher levels. Completely reasonable, right? Stuck between $1.61, stuck between $1.33. Completely reasonable. Do I think it has to come back down, back to 0.382, around 93 cents? Not necessarily. Whenever these things, they go, they just go, right? Yeah, so that's what I think about XRP, bullish. Somebody asked me about this True Client. I did not do BONK yet. It's on my list, and I started really using Twitter for you. Then I found Matt. I enjoy it now. Wondered if it. Yeah, I know it's awesome. I love the community there. TrueFi. What do I think about TrueFi? I think TrueFi is a nice double bottom here with a back test. I think TrueFi is, if I do a fit level here and here, I think TrueFi is still trying to break above the 0.382. So it's not quite ready just yet. But these things, they can change in a hurry. You know, that's a log fib. Yeah, if I don't do log fib, is meaningless. So yeah, so these things can change in a hurry. Is riding a 20-month moving average as support so far. And one thing I love about these things is that it looks like it's just gotten way overextended. It just needed to cool down. And so far, where is it cooling down at right now? Is it cooling down at the 0.236 here? Stuck between a couple of fit levels. Probably need some time to break the downward momentum here. It looks like it's already doing that, by the way. And it's probably going to push through, and it's going to probably graph it up here to the upper Bollinger Band here, which is also going to be close to, I bet, close to 0.5. It's probably going to end up hitting that zone over here, and we'll see how it reacts. But yeah, higher high, higher low, 20-month moving average, still starting to support. Trying to find support at 0.236. Probably going to go higher. Yeah, not bearish. Okay. If it breaks above 0.382, it should get to 0.618, 27 cents, 27.5 cents. And then after that, we'll see what happens. But I'm not bearish on this. Ichimoku underneath of that on the monthly, Ichimoku underneath the weekly. It probably would need some time to break out. You know, I don't think it's ready to moon quite just yet. All right, one last thing down. Injective. This is something that I think has been very hot because of how hard it ran for a very long time over last year or two, right? If you're looking at the FIB levels here, it looks like it's trying to, yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit funky to look at the log. I'm going to look at linear here. You look at linear, basically it's just trying to break above this 1.618 here around $40, unable to do so. Came back down, back to 0.618 almost perfectly, right? And reclaimed the 0.786. I think it's going higher. It's probably going to have to re-challenge the 1.618 around $40. If it's able to push through, then you talk about $63, $87, $100. I think the thing about like looking at a coin like this is kind of like Solana, where you have a tremendous amount of gain for like the last year and a half. So I'm not sure if it's going to continue. I think money might end up rotating to other things. This looks like a wave 1. This looks like a wave 2. That looks like wave 3. This is a prolonged wave 5. You might have a truncated wave. Prolonged wave 4. You might have a truncated wave 5 where it just kind of hit some targets up here. It may not beast like it did before. It's just, it may not do that. I don't think it's necessarily going to hit the 1.618. It could. If it hits the 1.618, I think this trend would be over. Probably. The reason why I say that is because, let me see here. Because where's the low in Japan? It's all the way up here. Because I think the trend has been really, really powerful, but at some point the trend will have to end. And I think a lot of gains probably have already been made. If I'm wrong, and it goes to like 3,000, great. Do I think it's going to happen? I find it to be not as likely. I find that you're going to not have another like 30x that it did before. Generally, that the early runners may be a little bit exhausted later on, and this might be one of those coins that might be doing that. If I'm wrong, then it could get up to 170. I think it probably get up to at least 90. It could hit 170. Does it get higher than that? I don't know. Let's see how it goes. I'm not seeing anything impulsive quite just yet to happen. All I'm seeing is that there's a big giant trend here, and it's kind of getting a little bit, tired. So, yeah, we'll see. ICP. ICP USD. This one looks like it probably has a lot more room to go. It's bullish, 20-month moving average, serving as support. Man, this fib level is going to look funky. Got rejected here at 0.382, came back to 0.136, kind of just hovering around here, but it's forming higher high and higher low. Price went from like 2.8 all the way to about 20, hit minimally like the 0.618 or 0.786. Like you're talking about either like 6x or either. That's probably going to be the bulk of the bull market. Does it make it all time and more? I don't know. That's not for me to decide. But so far, I think wave 3 is probably going to be pretty powerful to these levels up here. Am I 100% sure? No. This is just a guesstimate. But I like that it's forming higher highs and higher lows. I like the fact that it really came off a pretty powerful trend from the bottom up here and made like a 7 or 8x. So that's promising moving forward. That's ICP. JUP. How am I doing on time? And another like 10 minutes before I want to go say goodbye. This doesn't have. Let me see Kraken. This I wanted to look at one that has the most history, and sometimes it's hard to know which one. Bitstamp is generally JUP USD. Maxi. Okay, I think this is probably going to be as good as it goes. Jupiter. Are we going to Mars and Jupiter and Mars? Is that what this is? Let's look at a weekly because I don't have much of a price history here to look at. If you look at the weekly, it's bullish. Big giant green candle over here with 2 inside candles. Back testing a bullish Tenkan-Kijun cross. There's nothing like bearish. This is a double bottom. Looks very, very nice based on the glance. If I do a Fibonacci level from all-time high to all-time high to like the cycle low over here, it's trying to break above the 0.618, building up energy to do so. So far, so good. How's the volume look? Big candle, declining volume inside candles, looking good. Probably going to break above the 0.618. The next boss is going to be 0.786, which is $1.47. If it breaks that, then you're talking about all-time high stuff. $3, $5, $7, somewhere up there. If it's able to kind of break above the 0.786 here, about $1.50. Let's just round to like $1.50. Above $1.50, higher targets. Below, stuck in the range. Bull trend, probably going higher. Jupiter. TIA. I hope it doesn't stand for transient ischemic attack. Let's see. Which one gives me a good history here? Let's see. Okay. What the heck? This is like a sine wave here. This is a weekly chart. Monthly chart doesn't really give you too much stuff here. Weekly chart is a very nice rounded bottom here. It's forming higher highs and higher lows over the last couple months. It's reclaiming the Tenkan. It's reclaiming the 20-week moving average from resistance to support. It's expanding its Bollinger Band. Is trying to go higher, but it's being restricted by the upper Bollinger Band here. I think this is going to do fine. If you're talking about the actual levels itself, is trying to get about the 0.382. The next target level is going to be $10.87 around 0.618. If it breaks about $15.53, then you're talking about some all-time high stuff. It could potentially go up to 43, 61, or higher. But we're at resistance, which means that we need to break back above $7.23. Otherwise, you could still come back down, back test some stuff, and be painful about it, which is going to be next, like risk level down is 5.6, right? But risk level up 10.8, 14.5. I like the higher low over the last couple of months. That's TIA. TAL. Yeah, I know Litecoin actually doesn't look bad. I was asked to chart like Litecoin before, and it actually doesn't look bad at all. TAL looks like a big giant cup with a handle. It looks like the handle is breaking soon. Ichimoku looks bullish here on the monthly. I'm sorry, on the weekly, because you're holding the Kijun here with a tweezer. The Tenkan up here is rising, but it's serving as a little bit of a resistance, but that's okay. The Bollinger Band is expanding on the weekly initially, but it's contracting. It's just been going sideways here. But the 20-week moving average has been flipped from resistance here to support, and that goes along with the Buran support band. This is a bullish look. This is probably as bullish as it's going to look, right? Resistance, negative sloping resistance, flip support. This is probably going to mean that you're going to have some bullish continuation. And when you have bullish continuation, if you're asking for some potential level here, we need to break about the 0.786 here first. If you're breaking about the 0.786 here, TAL can go up to 1,500 and 2,000, and then we'll talk more. That's TAL. COTI. I have some COTI. Actually, I need to look at COTI USD. I have some COTI. COTI's good. I have no problem with COTI. COTI's probably going higher, but it's just hitting the 0.618 fit level here and getting rejected. Another thing that's also getting rejected here is the Ichimoku, which is right at 0.618. Like, I memorized these charts. I don't. It's like, I know what they are. Like, it's 0.618, top of the weekly Ichimoku cloud got rejected. Need to push through before 20 cents. It is 0.766. Need to push through 20 cents before all-time high stuff. I can see COTI going higher because the wave one really have just kind of gone from here. Let's see. Yeah, wave one is over here. I should do a little bit of a higher time frame here too, because that could be helpful in terms of like higher time frame Fibonacci levels. If I can get that wick, there you go. So this gives you a little bit of a different picture here. It broke about the 0.382. Hitting the weekly Ichimoku cloud here, getting rejected so far. The next level is probably on the graphic back over here, this high here. This high went from like 3.5 cents all the way to like 25 cents, right? It went to like 7-8x. I think wave 3 is going to be pretty decent here as well. You're talking about probably going to breaking, let's see here, breaking about this 0.618, breaking about 0.786. If you're breaking about 41 cents, then you're talking about potentially like $2 or $3 or even $5. Potentially. It doesn't have to, but I think that because wave one is so decent and wave two is so prolonged, that I think COTI could potentially hit some of the higher targets up here and form all-time highs. Maybe like $2, $3. maybe I'm going to get front ran and somebody's going to end up selling before me. Maybe it's going to end up hitting what, like 1.272 or something like that. Maybe it's going to be a little bit less than like $2. I don't know, right? Maybe I'm being a little bit too ambitious here looking at log scale. Maybe I should look at linear scale and look and take profits at 1.618 here of $1.26. Or if it ends up going to 2.618 around $2. I think those are reasonable targets. If you're able to break about 40 cents, or in the, I guess in the linear scale, if you ever break about the 63 cents, that's also potentially another resistance level, right? Either 41 cents or 63 cents. Then you're talking about like a $2 COTI. BONK. BONK, BONK, BONK. I'm getting near to the end here. I don't even know how many charts I've done. I don't even know. And then I'm going to talk about XLM. And I might even take a look at Litecoin as well, Nathan, because I'm enthusiastic. And then I'm done for the night after making a bunch of time steps. BONK. What do I think about BONK? Initially, I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah. Initially, man, I'm going to need like some crazy hydration after this. Initially, I was worried that BONK is a little bit of a rounded top. Look at how exhausted this is. It might still be exhausted, actually. It might still be exhausted. This might actually be a little bit exhaustive top. I don't know, right? Because if you look at RSI, it's going up on bearish divergence, but it can keep going up on bearish divergence. That like the price can keep going on bearish divergence. That doesn't matter. You can keep going up and like make another like 10x on bearish divergence. That happens all the time. But initially, I was a little bit worried about the rounded top here. It's able to break above of that now, which is good news. And if you look at again here, which I think I drew on the weekly, 180 and 0.0001, whatever. You look at again, it's not bearish. Where's again doing? Well, it pushes through all these arcs, backtest the arc, went to the next arc, and then eventually it will push through the arc. And you went to the next level, you backtested the horizontal zone right here. This is not bearish. Where's it going to go? It probably would minimally go up to like this arc up here, which means maybe another 3x, right? Does it mean that it could potentially have some further bullish continuation in the next arc up here, which is going to be what, like 15, 20x? Possible. I don't know. Could this bull trend be not as strong because it already have gone from, I can't even calculate this. It already had like like a 40x or something like that. Does it mean that it's going to keep making another like 20x? I don't know. All I know is that it's bullish, and I think it's probably going to make another like 2 or 3x, if not another like 5x. I think that's probably going to happen, but I'm not sure about like the other like 20x stuff. I just don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, especially when Doge and Shiba has consolidated sideways for so long. And I generally think that the early cycle runners may not run that hard later on. That's generally what I think, but I could be wrong. I even look at Litecoin. For you because I'm so dang nice. Well, I mean, I don't know. I probably don't know what I'm doing here. I got all these marks here. All these nasty marks here. What do I think about Litecoin? I think Litecoin has just been like a big, giant ascending triangle that I don't know will ever break out. I don't know if we ever break out. It looks like XRP, I guess, but like I think that the issue with Litecoin is that it was never really like suppressed by the SEC. Whoa, I actually have some GAN here. Let's see, 180 and 5. Let's see what we got here. I got to turn off the fib level here so I can actually look at it. Look at how beautiful this is. From arc to arc, I think it's probably going to gravitate up here back to this arc. Does it make an all-time high? I don't know. I think Litecoin is going to do okay this cycle. Probably going to at least double. How high does it go? Hard for me to say. I love that it kind of bounced off of that angle over there, though. From the previous cycle high to the cycle low, let's look at the possibilities. If it breaks all-time high, if it breaks the 0.786, if it breaks all-time high, maybe it hits some of the levels up here. Maybe it goes 10x this cycle. If Bitcoin does really well, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just can't get to the 0.786 here and 2.5x, and that's it. Right around the levels around here. I don't know. All those are possibilities. All I know is that it's not bearish, but I actually don't know like how far it's going to go. So, woo, 7:30, 2 hours. I did it. I did it. One last thing before I go, let's update, refresh, and see how the liquidation heat map looks for Bitcoin. 24 hours. Looks like it wants to gravitate up to maybe 99,650 to liquidate these degen longs here. I don't know whether or not it has to happen. Sometimes these disappear. Sometimes they're like, well, okay, like we shorted and then we're going to close our short. Sometimes they disappear. But it's been pretty consistent here so far for the last few hours. There's a lot of potential liquidity up for grabs up here around 99K, 99.6K. I wonder if we'll end up breaking through the 100K mark sometime this weekend. We might as well, right? Because I would imagine if we end up going up there, there might be people shorting Bitcoin, and we might end up pushing through the market just because of that. I don't know, but yeah, we will. We'll see what happens. These 2-hour single person live streams are absolutely insanity. I'm going to, and this is with me. This is with me fulfilling 21 stock requests on a separate video. This is with me already talked about the miners. This is with me already talked about Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the other stuff on a separate video. I might cut down the chart request to just one chart request per person because I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. With that said, y'all are going to be sad, especially for those people who just sign up for a $5 membership, for a $4.99 membership. You guys are going to be sad because next weekend is Thanksgiving, and I'm going to go out of the country for about a week and a half with poor internet connection starting on Thanksgiving. So there probably won't be a live stream next Saturday. I'm not sure if there will be a live stream on the Saturday after that, right? And I'm sorry if you just signed up, if you like end up losing like 2 weeks of support for the holidays and the week after, Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, that happens, but I think that's going to be like the vacation that I'm not going to go on any more vacation after that. I think the next vacation is probably going to be like April when I go to see Danny. When I go and see Danny in Hong Kong, probably in April. So I'm sorry, guys. I probably won't be able to make a live stream next weekend or maybe even the weekend after that. But thank you for your support. I'll do my best in answering your questions. I thank you all for like just hanging out. This is incredible. I get 50 or 60 people just kind of hang out with me. I will keep doing it through the holidays though when I come back. That's all I have to say. I'll also probably make some announcements, and whatnot. But yeah, I'm probably going to be around. I still make do the triumphant live stream on Tuesday nights, but I'll try to be around after that. Okay, after the first week of December, the second week of December, things back into usual. Anyway, take care, guys. Have a great rest of the Saturday. Enjoy yourselves. Bye.